Every Monday, we have a little segment called Moral Maze. And I've said this before, but as much as I loathe Islamic fundamentalism and the violence and terror, which I think is the inevitable consequence of that theology, you can understand why some people look at the West and say, you know what, you're failing, you have so much, and you get it wrong so very often. And we call this a moral maze because on moral issues, life, sexuality, and so on, family, I think we are going wrong rapidly and frequently. Jack Fonseca is here from Campaign Life, and where do I begin? Oh, how about this? And welcome to you, by the way.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I love the headline. Rapist seeking visitation with child he fathered after attack on teen victim. Well, what's wrong with that?
Well, that's such a light topic to begin on.
Yes.
I should have a joke ready for that, but I don't think it's appropriate.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, so this is a case where it's a Massachusetts case where, you know, normally when we hear the term justice is blind, it implies that justice is impartial, but in this case, I think it means that justice can't see the difference between doling out justice and injustice. And you know, what happened here is a judge there was a girl, a 14-year-old girl, who had been raped by a 20-year-old man. She became pregnant and chose to parent the child, to raise the child, and she has. But a judge in the case had bestowed parental rights upon the rapist, who now, because of the judge's sentencing, where he treated it as kind of a family law issue, is now demanding visitation rights to see the child, to tell the victim, you got to hand over your baby to me.
Is he doing it because he actually wants to see the child, or just to be really bloody-minded and sadistic?
I'm not sure. I have not read his direct statements, but I know that the victim's lawyer has filed a motion saying this is just wrong. It shouldn't be treated this way. Basically, you know, when you commit a rape, you lose any rights, any parental rights you might have.
Almost profit of crime, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's wonderful that she decided, even at 14, that the child had a right to live, and sounds like a model example in many ways. But the idea of the rapist, the criminal, saying, no, you have no rights anymore. She has rights, the unborn child has rights, you have none. There are 3 people involved in this, only one is a criminal, it's you, sir. So you can, I mean, go to hell, you're a rapist. I mean, we must follow this case, because surely the courts will say, well, with family law, though, you never know, but you think they would say, no, this must not. There should be an order, in fact, banning him from being within, I don't know, a mile or so of where she is.
There should be, and the prosecutors had asked for 3 to 5 years, and instead they got this. And, you know, I liken it to when we look at a criminal, they lose their liberty because of the crime, and in the case of a rapist, he should lose his parental rights because of the crime.
Now, Lady Gaga. If ever I want to know what is going on in the world, what is right and what is wrong, I go to Lady Gaga.
Of course, High Priestess.
You know, interesting story about it. Irshad Manji, who I'm sure you're aware of, she told me last time she was on the show that Indonesia there are people in Indonesia who said to Irshad, we're going to kill you. We are going to kill you. And Irshad, who's a little terrier, I mean, I don't agree with her about everything, but she said, yeah, not going to stop me. And she went back specifically because they said this. Lady Gaga, the great champion of liberty, she ran away so quickly, she cancelled her concerts there because she was, and she had security all around her, of course. Now she's come out with another statement. I'm dying to hear what it is.
Well, the Pope, Pope Benedict
yes, I've heard of him, yeah.
Yeah, you've heard of him. Well, he came out with a statement very recently saying that traditional marriage and the family must be defended because anything that's injurious to those institutions are injurious to society itself. So on a radio program, she attacked what he said, and she said, well, what the Pope says to the world is irrelevant to the world. And in fact, that's not the only valid religious opinion, and it doesn't represent all religious people.
Well, fair enough, it doesn't, but actually that opinion would represent what? Roman Catholicism, evangelical Christianity, Islam, Orthodox Judaism, quite a few people, actually.
Just a few billion.
Yeah, just a few billion, yeah. But, you know, Lady Gaga, the problem is not that some cretin like Lady Gaga makes a statement. It should just be dismissed and laughed at, but it doesn't. It influences many people.
It does, and part of the problem here, too, that I have a problem with this, besides the fact that she's, you know, just trying to insult people, is that she tries to pass it off as a valid religious opinion. She tries to say that, you know, within Christianity, supporting homosexual marriage or tearing down the traditional family can be a valid religious opinion, and it really is an act of sabotage. She's trying to pretend to be religious, which she's not, to destroy religion from within. And that's...
Yeah, I mean,
that's disingenuous.
It's a valid opinion. I mean, I disagree with the opinion, and I think my forthcoming book will show that it's not true, but it's a valid opinion to have, but it's incompatible with genuine Christianity. So you simply, I mean, you have to choose your sides in. If you say same-sex marriage is not an issue, it's not in any way going to harm society or children, fine, you're entitled, thank the Lord, to that opinion, but you can't have that opinion and also say you're a serious Christian. It's like saying that, you know, I am black and I am white. Well, you're not. I mean, you really are one or the other. Prostitution challenge. Why is it that so many people so frequently want to make whoring the order of the day? You know, prostitution will always exist, and prostitutes should be protected, but they shouldn't be legitimized. What they do is not what we should aspire to. It is wrong.
It's totally wrong. It treats women as a commodity that can be bought, sold, or rented for their flesh. It damages their self-esteem. It damages them in so many ways, psychologically, physically, etc. You know, and on a personal level, I know a girl who was molested by her uncle. She obviously that had a traumatic impact on her. She ended up going into prostitution, and she subsequently ended up committing suicide.
Oh,
so we try to, you know, the people who push this stuff, they try to say it empowers women. No, it doesn't. It destroys women.
Of course it does, but yet another challenge. Of all the things that lawyers and activists could be doing to try and make prostitution completely legal, the police will turn a blind eye a lot of the time to what is going on. If there are other problems involved, they might act. It's a bit like cannabis use. They're realists. They know it does happen. But if these new laws do come in, and really all the time, provincially and federally, there are attempts to change this, it will mean that young women who may have been dissuaded from it could just get that hint that, okay, maybe I will. I'll be okay. I've got police protection, and the law doesn't stop it, and that could end lives.
Well, the law is a teacher, and whenever the law says we're going to make something legal, it sends a message to all of society that this is also moral and also something that there's no problem with pursuing. And the reason you brought this up is because the Supreme Court of Canada has signaled that, well, it actually ruled to allow a pro-prostitution lobby group and a former prostitute to challenge Canada's laws against prostitution. And they have no legal standing. These groups have no legal standing. They shouldn't have any legal standing. They've never been charged under the law. And the Supreme Court has said, we're going to let them have legal standing anyway so they can continue to sue. And that signals that they want to legalize.
Jack,